Hey gang, it's Bob Bannister with you for another edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. Hey, do us a favor, you know the drill. Click like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And oh, by the way, if you're not subscribed, why not? Join in the fun. You get to catch up on all the videos and you get to stay up to date on all things Rock Talk. Click that bell icon as well. Drop us a comment. Maybe there's somebody you'd like us to catch up with. So, one of the really cool things about doing Rock Talk is the fact that I get to meet these cool people from all over the world. I was talking with Mick, Vinny from Parabellum and talking about what's coming up for them. And part of the thing that's coming up for them is Rock is Not Dead 3. And somewhere along the line, I ended up becoming friends with the guitarist from the band, Krissy. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to see if Krissy wants to do an interview. So I chatted with Krissy and said, hey, what do you say? Let's have a chat. She was game for that, so this is what you're getting this time around. Sitting down with Krissy from the band Parabellum, finding out what's coming up, including Rock is Not Dead, on this edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead Australia. And as promised on this edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock is Not Dead, we are joined by Krissy from the band Parabellum. Welcome in, my friend. Welcome to Rock Talk.
Thank you for having me.
And it is awesome to have you here. So tell us, you're in the band Parabellum. You are the guitarist, power trio. I'm always asking this question though. What is it about power trios that just they sound larger than say like a four piece or a five piece? Is it everybody is a classic overachiever or what gives?
Oh, I think you can look at it from two perspectives. I think from a interpersonal sort of dynamic, I think three people work really well. It's definitely not a three's a crowd type of thing when you're in a band. I find that you can have a really good connection with the two others almost because you're building something together. And then sonically, I feel like maybe there's a little less competition going on. I think if you're going to have, say, like the second guitar, I think it's really important that you actually work out what the guitar tones are and what they're doing.
Hmm.
So I know, yeah, not necessarily every band kind of goes to that because it's one of those, as a guitarist, a tone's a big part of your sound, and it's like you don't want to have to compromise on that sometimes. So I can understand how that becomes a little bit of a battle. It's like, but that's my sound, and not necessarily within the context of the band.
Right, right. So now I had said that you're a power trio, but technically you're not a power trio. You played bass on your studio tracks, and are you bringing out a bass player and down the road to join you on stage?
We're still in a bit of discussion about that. It's a hard one because we really love the dynamic that we've got with the three of us. We're on a really similar level, and that's really, really hard to find as a band, I've found. So everyone's kind of got their own unique skill set in a sense. Like Mick does a lot of like the organization, more of like, I guess, the admin work. The drummer's more like the technical side of things. So he's building our whole backing track rig and everything, making all his own cables. He's a very
Oh,
smart
wow.
guy. Yeah, where I guess I'm filling, I guess, the gaps a bit more on the musical side. So for the first two tracks, I've done keys for them as well.
Oh, wow.
I did bass for the last one that we just did. And also, I guess, just working forward and the current backing tracks we've got as well. And, dabbing with a bit of the artwork as well helps give me a nice balance. Like saying a bit more cathartic, getting out the, pen on paper. I'm a bit old school like that.
Oh yeah, old school still works. I mean, if it didn't, then yeah, we're in trouble if
Yeah,
if it stops working.
have that connection away from technology sometimes. Yeah, our whole lives sort of just run by computers. We're always on our phone. I was like, just give me some pencils and some paper. We'll just sit there for a few hours a night, crack it out.
Exactly. It's like my smartwatch died. I had the thing for 6 years. It's like, you know what? I'm not going back to a smartwatch. I'm going back to an analog watch that you have to wind, you know, going just unplugging from everything. I have too much computer stuff in my life.
Yeah, it's liberating.
It really is. Now, doing my homework here, I noticed that you won a guitar competition host or judged by Alice Cooper.
I did. I did. That's good homework. I did. That's probably one of my most proud achievements. Yeah, he was I guess doing the competition in line with Ultimate Guitar, which are
Mhm.
like a global website for guitar tabs, essentially. Yeah,
Right.
and he was the judge, and I did an acoustic cover of the song Stephen.
Oh,
And yeah,
right. From Welcome to My
yeah.
Nightmare.
Yeah, I love that. That whole album is one of the first albums that I probably learnt when I first got onto guitar. And that's kind of what resonated with me. And especially like from a technical point of view, Stephen on 12 strings quite hard. So I like to push myself, and I'm really glad that I got the payoff for the effort that I put into that, because I was doing that in between exams and everything, and like, trying to work. Yeah, it's one of those where it's like I'll regret it if I don't do this,
Hmm.
and make the sacrifice at the time. And I won a free t-shirt.
Well, that's cool. Hey, a free t-shirt is always awesome.
Yeah, it's more about the bragging rights, I think, than anything. But I'm glad I got a t-shirt too. It was very nice. It's got Alice Cooper with the snake on it.
Very cool. Now, have you run into Alice or have you met Alice since then and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I won."
Uh, not since. I've met him beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the very first person, I think, or at least on the first tour where that you could get an invite to go on stage with him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've always had this like little thing with Alice Cooper. So I think that was back in 2009. Yeah, I won that competition and got to throw balloons out. Yeah, it's a very prestigious job, that one. But yeah, got to meet him afterwards as well. And that's one of those moments that you can kind of think back and have a little bit of regret, because, I was talking to him saying I'm a guitarist and everything. He's like, "Oh, do you have any music on you?" And I was like, "No, that would have been clever." Like, you get such limited opportunities. And I was like, I think past me just thought that would have been so arrogant or egotistical or something, where now I'm just like,
Yeah.
shove the music down people's throats. Like, you put all this work and effort into it. Like, you should be proud of it.
Hmm. So who inspired you to pick up the guitar?
Oh, that's a really difficult one to answer. Alice Cooper's definitely up there. Like I said, that Welcome to My Nightmare album. Around the same time, also Richie Blackmore with
Mm.
Rising, the huge influence. A bit of Uriah Heep as well. So I sort of went through that more, I guess, 70s hard rock sort of era before maybe going a bit more 80s metal.
Okay.
So yeah, Tony Iommi, Black Sabbath, another massive influence. Yeah, and then from there, just the bands that I guess the opportunities I had to be in was sort of more leaning towards, a lot more sort of Judas Priest, Iron Maiden kind of songs, and that's kind of how that shaped my journey as to where we are with Parabellum as well.
And you guys are playing a really big show coming up in August. Rock is Not Dead 3. A ton of great Aussie acts on that bill. That's got to be pretty exciting as well.
It's so exciting. It's my first time ever playing Melbourne. It's one of those where I've had it booked in so many times in the past and it's just never come through. So to actually have the whole lineup and everything locked in, I'm so happy and stoked and looking forward to being able to head over there. And I've got you meet musicians as well when they come over to
Mhm.
Perth as well. So like I know like the guys from Warbirds, really really just stoked and honoured to be on the same lineup as them as well. And just with the whole everything that Rock is Not Dead is just doing, they're just such superb. Like they're so great at picking out such great music. And I remember when they had the was it the top? was it 20? I can't remember. Feel free to correct me, last year. I just remember going through all the
Yes.
tracks. I was like, every song was just like top tier. I was
The
like it
Aussie
really,
Song of the Year. Is that what you're thinking of?
yeah, yeah, when they did that, yeah. I think it was that was with you as well,
That
wasn't
was
it?
with us, yes.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And I was just like listening through the songs. I was like, I love all of these bands, and I'd maybe heard of five or so from the list because we're quite isolated over here in WA. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously, bands like Sisters Doll, they were from here originally, and there's a few that that will come up that are, I guess, more proactive in their networking. Like I think the Stella Coma,
Right.
yeah, like I know he connected with me years ago, um, kind of thing. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
sort of you piece the network together. But yeah, I had quite a enjoyable afternoon listening through those tracks.
Very cool. And I'm looking here and looking at my Spotify and stuff, and I'm seeing so many female artists coming out now. Like whether it's the lead guitarist of the band, not just the singer, it's the lead guitarist, the drummer, the bassist. We've really changed or turned a corner in the world of rock and metal, haven't we?
So much, just in the time that I've been a musician. I suppose in terms of being a heavy metal lead guitarist that's female in Perth, it's still kind of just me and Simone from Voyager. But we're seeing so many more drummers, especially more in that sort of rock genre, and it's really it's just such a wonderful thing to see, and especially kind of connecting with that younger generation as well, who it's just like you can kind of be a mentor now, or it's like we didn't
Hmm.
really get that. There was sort of, we're the ones that have sort of paved the way in a
Hmm.
sense. And one of my other bands I'm in is actually an all-female AC/DC tribute as well.
Yes.
And that gets us out into, I guess, a wider audience. And the amount of shows that we play, sometimes that you might be playing to at least 2,000 people, and at the end you're kind of just swarmed by women, which is was been such an interesting journey. And it's a lot of them are just coming up being like I've never seen a chick play rock music before, and it's just really empowering for them. And it's really shifted my perspective on being a female musician, where before I was just like, I don't care. I just like rock. I'm just going to do it. Like I never put any more efforts than that. But I was like, oh, I'm actually like making an impact on people's lives. So it's just one of those unintended and fulfilling bonuses, I guess you could say.
Because like you said, there's not been that many in the past. I mean, like I was thinking about this earlier today. Growing up listening to rock, we had Vixen, we had the Runaways, Joan Jett, and Lita Ford, of course, those two coming
Yeah.
from the Runaways and whatnot. But now it's just every time you turn around, and this is so incredible. There's yourself, and there's the young lady. I can't think of her name off the top of my head from Tail Gunner from
Okay.
Britain, and just so many, and it's so exciting now. I have to say that.
It really is. It's nice, and just the culture surrounding it's changing a lot too. Back when I first started, it was very much go into a green room and stuff, but you would just assume that you were someone's girlfriend.
Mhm.
Whereas like it's just like, oh, you can actually just be acknowledged as a musician, and it's just little things like that. I mean, they're not necessarily a big deal, but it's just nice to feel that cultural shift. Or I was like, yes, I do belong here, kind of thing.
There you go. There you go. Let's get back to your music a little bit here. In your playing specifically, in 3 words, describe your tone.
Smooth 80s sexy, I hope. Go for.
That works. And you know what? It's spot on the money. Spot on the money. So what are you looking at down the road for 2026?
Just trying to get as much recording as possible. I've got a really, really busy year with uni, which is sort of taking over my life more than I'd love it to. My identity is very much as a musician. So recording a track at the moment called Lost Souls, and we'll definitely have that one released before we head over to Melbourne. And look, ideally, would love to have the whole album cut by the end of the year. I don't know if that's a little bit ambitious at this point in time, but I think it's something to aim towards. And
Mhm.
if we don't get there, we don't get there. But you've got to try. But we've
I'll,
got
I'll
about 11 songs, so
I'll bug Mick a little bit for you. I sat down
no,
and had
no,
a chat
no
with him.
problem. I'm the problem. Don't bug
Oh,
Mick. Mick wanted it done back in March.
oh,
I'm like, yeah, me and the drummer Jake, he's got a pretty heavy load as well. He works in film and
oh,
TV,
okay.
so he works some crazy hours as well. So it's just where we can fit it in at the moment. But it's all very positive vibes. Everyone's very supportive of each other, and I think that's makes life in general just so much more enjoyable.
I'm going to ask you some general knowledge rock questions. I want you to answer with the wrong answer. The crazier, the better. All
Okay.
right. All right. If you're ready. Which band featured Tony Iommi?
I believe that was the Venga Boys.
What band
Have a
features
guitar.
Dave Mustaine?
Oh, it's definitely a band that's got something to do with condiments. I think is it ABBA?
Yeah,
I know that's not a condiment,
we would have accepted New Order as well.
but I think it's like 80s. That was not metal, but I was like, no, there's too many to filter through. I love metal that much.
What band is Kerry King from?
Harry King, Man of War.
What band did Ringo Starr play for?
Ringo Starr. Oh, that's very galactic. I want to say Symphony X.
There you go. I could hear that one. And finally, what was the band that Dave Grohl was originally from?
Dave Grohl. Oh, that's definitely got to be a black metal vocalist with that name. Trying to think something that's really quite heavy. Ooh, I'm lost. All I can think of is local bands, so I'm just going to go Pathogen.
There
I'm
you
probably
go.
going to know
That works.
I
Hey,
was like,
thank
you
you.
have all my black metal knowledge just confined in Perth right now.
Hey, Krissy from the band Parabellum. This has been a whole lot of fun. Take a few extra moments and shamelessly self-promote.
Oh, like right now?
Yes.
But yes, definitely please check out my band Parabellum, especially if you're into high energy, old school hard rock, metal, that kind of music. I think it's very got a good blend of being really melodic, really catchy, and the songs are nice and short. We try not to do anything over 4 minutes. They're punchy to the point. Got great vocals, nice and clean, and I try and do some really cool guitar solos.
Very cool. Very cool.
It
Thank you
takes me
again.
a long time to work out. So yeah, it's like one of those things. Like I'll record it. The first one's fine, but I have to spend another 20 hours just make sure I have really exhausted any other sort of avenue. And it's like the first one's always fine. So probably should be recording with other people more than myself because I can just do it again. I can just do it again.
I believe me, I get that. I'm the same way when I'm recording stuff for CGCM. It's like, no, I'm gonna do that again. I'll do it again. I'll do it again. 5 hours later, I'm still going back to that first one. Like, yeah, okay, I can work with that.
Is that with your voice?
Yeah,
And just like, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
doing
Yeah, I did.
commercials and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a radio sweep and same thing. I was like, I can't pick. And I sent them like 10 different versions. They're all identical. I need that up. So make a decision for me.
It's like you're like by the end of it, you turn into the Wile E. Coyote holding up that little sign, help.
And I'm like, it's such a basic task. Why am I overthinking it?
All right, Krissy, I want to thank you for joining us on this edition of Rock Talk with CGCM Rock Radio and Rock Is Not Dead Australia. Guys, click that like, share, subscribe button. Don't forget to leave us a comment as well and catch us again next time for another edition of Rock Talk.